Hello everyone, and welcome to my watercolour demo, and today I'm painting a river landscape without using any reference. First off, I'm wetting the paper on both sides and I won't be taping it down. I do this sometimes depending on the style of watercolour painting. I'll be using a lot of wet in wet technique today. The paper is Arch Rough, one of my favourite papers. I've done a very basic sketch. So, into the wet sky with mixes of lemon yellow, light red, ultramarine and alizarin crimson, all very wet and juicy. I'll drop in some similar colours into the river as I go. I have no Payne's Grey today, so darker values will be mixed using ultramarine and burnt sienna as a base anyway. Now for some darker clouds. Everything is still wet, so I'm putting in the distant tree line now, which will blend and soften into the sky. Now for some yellows and greens for the middle distant land. The land is blending with the trees, but that's fine. And now for the land more in the foreground, using lots of different greens, greys and browns, still wet in wet. using much darker pigment here in the foreground. And now the plastic card trick to create some nice rock textures. By the way, it's best not to use your current credit card for this. So now I'm just darkening the banks just a little. And now some middle distance trees are going in. I'm trying not to be too dark with these. Changing to a rigger brush for the finer branches now. Most of these trees will most likely be covered up by the foreground ones, but they have to go in. And now the fan brush for a hint of small twigs and foliage. And now some thicker paint for the foreground trees. Must be very bold here. And again a rigger for the finer branches and twigs. Back to the fan brush again to give the impression of some leaves and foliage. I'm wetting the river now, ready to add a few reflections. Now I'm putting in the foreground bank. I've darkened it now and painted in some trees in the same way as the ones on the left. Now adding a few ripples to the water. Fan brush again, just to create a few foreground grasses. And some damp kitchen roll now, just to lighten a few areas, just lifting the paint out. Now I'm splattering in colour, just to add some extra texture. Now I can't find the right brush, so I'm using my finger. Hey, it's digital art! Some more grasses now with my very fine rigger brush. I see I splattered the sky, so I'm just going to have to add a bird or two. Now I'm using damp kitchen paper just to blend away a few hard edges in the background. Nearly finished now, so just putting in a few highlights with a white pastel pencil. few lighter ripples on the water just to finish off. Well, I'd better sign it. So, thanks very much for watching. I enjoyed painting for you. See you again next time.